Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Monday, September 8th, 2014 Independent Stylist Conference call. Thank you for joining me tonight and your other stylists. Thank you for everyone who's here in person. These calls are really important. And I know some of you have been on these calls for over a year, some even like a year and a half. And you can really tell the difference on who's working their business and who's plugged in and who's working the calls. Natalie, I want to say I saw that email that you just sent out to your prospects. That was great. I loved that. And yeah, so thank you very much. All right, we're going to talk tonight about our career plan. And oh, wait, let me advance this one more time. We're going to talk about our career plan with Winnie and Kat. We have a very real, very attainable plan. You just got to work it. You just got to work it, and you got to stick with it and keep with it. And we're going to talk about on this call how you can earn immediately with your own personal sales. That's the one thing that you can control right away, our personal sales, and then also what happens as you build. And you can also always set a private appointment with me or with Tiff or with your upline if you want to understand where you are in the plan and where you need to go. And it's a good idea to know 2 levels up, because if you're always thinking about how to advance those next 2 levels, you're just going to keep going and you're going to keep growing. And the successful stylists tell me that when you ask, when stylists call and say they're having trouble with whatever it is, X, Y, whatever, and I ask, have you done the trainings? It's usually the answer is usually no. And then the stylists who are having a lot of success, when I ask, what do you attribute your success? The answer is usually the training. So they're very basic, and they're good. They work. So let's talk about how to make some money with Winnie and Kat. All right, so if you're new to the company, and even if you've been around a little while and it's time to get going, it's fall, kits are shipped. The second part of the kits are shipped out today if you didn't already have that on the way. So you'll have your full Amber Waves collection very soon, except for there's 2 pieces that are still in production. But those will be coming, and should be coming later this month. Okay, so I'm going off on a tangent. Okay, personal sales. With Winnie and Kat, you earn 25 to 30% commission on your personal sales. And with our product, with clothing, this can really be significant just on your personal sales. Our trunk shows are averaging about $1,100 a show. So, you do the trunk show math, even if you just do $5,000 a month, if you do 5 shows, then that's going to be 30% commission, and there you go with $1,500 just on your personal sales. Okay, so personal sales is the easiest thing that you can control in the first 3 months. You can earn up to 30% on your personal sales, and this is when you sell $5,000. When you sell $3,000, your commission goes up to 28%, and those get paid back on your power seller bonus. Okay, and we talk about the joy of 6. I added the magic of 12 because I realized in talking to new stylists who are coming on is that some people said, well, I don't want to only do 6 shows a month. And you know what? It makes a lot of sense, because if you're not working, or, if you don't have, maybe you don't have other obligations after work, maybe you have a full-time job, but really get those shows on the books, and don't set yourself or your team a limitation. So find out, when you have people who are joining your team, what is their goal? What do they see? One of our stylists was a top seller at another direct sales company, and I asked her about her success with her other party plan company, and she said, well, it wasn't until the national conference, because she I don't think her upline was very active, but she just joined, and she said it wasn't until the national conference that I actually realized that 12 shows a month was a lot. because I was just doing that. That's just what I did. So let's, the more you book, the more you sell, the more you build. And if you have those shows on the books, they're going to turn into more shows and more shows, as you know. So, okay, so what happens and what does it look like? These are examples of personal sales earnings. So this is, and this will all be recorded so you can look at it. I'll post it back on the forum. So you can see what it can look like: 1 show, 3 shows, and 5 shows. And then if you have additional weekly retail sales as well. We get those customers who just want to buy some product that they might buy online, they might buy in person. And this is just an average. Like I know some stylists, like I know Mary, Mary has her customer who spends over $1,000 a month just on personal sales, whatever we have new. So this is an example. If you think about one show a week, what your annual income might look like, up to 5 shows a week. And 5 shows a week is a lot, but so is $86,000. So, and that's just from your personal sales. That's not, that's before sponsoring. Okay, so let's talk about sponsoring. And on this call, we're not going to get every single little detail. And that's kind of how you learn the compensation plan, is not necessarily all the details are there. And the compensation plan and career path is on the forum. And I'm happy to go over it with you in more detail. And the reason that it's a lot, it's a big plan, it goes all the way up to the car program. And I want you to break it down into manageable pieces, because that's how you're going to get to where you need to be. Is to always know what it looks like 2 levels above you. Okay, so like if you're a Stylist 3 right now, you should be looking at Stylist Manager 2. Okay, if you're a Stylist Manager, you should be looking at Group Manager and what you need to do to get there. I mean, for those of you who are Stylist Managers, okay, so you should be looking at it and saying, okay, and some of the stylists, so we have talks we have talks before the end of the month, or we'll have have talks throughout the month. Okay, here's what you need to do in September, just to make sure, because sometimes it helps to bounce that off of another person too. And everybody's new, so like mentors are new too. So it helps to kind of look through it and fully understand what's going to take you to that next level. And there's a lot of like, oh yeah, oh, if she does this, then that'll happen. And again, familiarize yourself with your dashboard, and we're always happy to go over that with you too, Tiff and I, and talk you through it. So, okay, so Stylist Manager 2. So if you're a Stylist Manager 3, you're going to be looking at, all you need to do is add a little bit more personal volume, 2 active legs, and one of those legs has to be a Stylist 3. Okay, so looking at this slide, does anyone have questions about kind of these phases and going up to Group Manager? And we're just going to talk on this call, we're just talking about going up to the Group Manager phase, because we're still so early on. We're gonna work on this part first. We are gonna talk about the Founders Club though, because that's really important. And then there's some very exciting news about the Founders Club, if you haven't heard. Okay, so what happens then once you recruit and build managers? You get bonuses, and this is where your incomes can start to really grow. You get, one of the things that I love is the Fast Start bonus. And besides the Fresh Start plan that you have during your first 90 days, where you can win the Gucci tote or the MacBook, you also get paid extra on anyone who joins your team on her first 90 days. You get an override. Okay, so that's because we want you to help your downline be successful. So the more that you can help her get up and running during the first 90 days, that's setting those habits. You can tell too, like leading by example. The stylists who consistently have really good shows, when they're building teams, their team members consistently have good shows. So your actions and what you're doing a lot of times sets the tone and sets those expectations, even though you might not realize it, for your team. If you're doing consistently, $800, $1,000, $1,200 shows, even $1,600 shows, when your team comes on, that's going to be normal. That's what we do. So think about that too, and it is remarkable what comes out of the training and seeing stylists, and please use me and use Tiff, because we have been talking to all stylists for the last 18 months and more about all of the experiences. So we've seen lots of different experiences across the board in all different locations, different age groups. And I love, I've had some really good conversations today, and love that coaching and kind of giving a different perspective, because I know you're out there, and a lot of you are out there kind of on your own. I'm here for you. I know what it's like. I've been a salesperson out there. I mean, I've traveled. When I first started the company, I went out and I traveled, and I will never forget when we did our first line of pajamas, and I got off an airplane in Charleston, and I walked into first the plane was delayed. They couldn't find a flight attendant, so our plane was delayed. It was about 100 and who knows how many degrees, and half of our stuff was fleece. And I walked into a room of Southern women in sundresses, and I thought, oh my gosh, what am I doing? What am I thinking? It was a good party. It was I think it was like a $1,400 party after all. But my point is, I know what it's like being out there, and I know that you're putting yourself on the line, and I know you're stepping out of your comfort zone. So I'm here to support you on that. So just, you can think about that too. Whatever it takes to channel when you're out there, when you're at a party, just think about that and think about that. I know, okay, and I think about you, because I look and I see when the parties are booked online. A lot of times I know when you're having a party, and I think about it, and I'm here with you. I'm cheerleading you on. So anyway, that's just a little sidetrack about that. So fast start bonuses. This is pretty exciting because, so like when you're a stylist too, for example, you sponsor someone and you get, besides 4% of her sales, you're also going to get an additional 5% during fast start. So that's 9% that you're going to get on your first level down. And then you can see the power of advancing. Like once you're a stylist manager 2, you're going to get 12% on your first level down. And then even stylist manager 2, you're going to get 10% on your second level down during that fast start. So it can really, and as you build, this can be really powerful, as well as you get that $500 advancement bonus when you develop group managers underneath you. So take a look at your compensation plan. Think about, some of you might be stylists, you just joined. Think about what you need to do to get to Stylist 3, and we'll click back at that one just one more time. So if you're a stylist, that means you joined. You're a stylist in good standing. Stylist 3 is $600 in personal volume and 2 active legs. So let's all think about that and think about bringing 2 more people on. 2 more people. Actually, you need to bring more people on to have 2 active legs, but to get 2 active legs underneath you, and then you'll get to Stylist 3, and then it gets, then it's kind of, it gets pretty fun after that, because then you can really realize, okay, well, she does this and she does this, and I'm going to be a stylist manager 2 pretty soon, and that's pretty cool. So let's see. I found my pen tool in the last call. I kind of lost it before, but here. So does anyone have any questions about? I'll show you what a leg is. So this is, say this is I don't know. Say this is me. Okay, because the thing is, like, I think about this, and I think about the company, and I'm like, okay, I get pretty excited that I've brought on 217 people. right? Like if you think about it, like sometimes you can think about like the company, and I think about like, okay, I started this company and I've got a lot of other things going on. I'm running the company, but I kind of think about it like, okay, this is kind of this, you're my team, right? So you're my downline. And so, I know that, this can be done. So, okay, so this is an example of legs. Okay. So each of these are legs, okay? And then even if this one branches off. Okay, so say like even like, thank you, I got a compliment, nice legs, thank you. I don't think I've ever been complimented on my drawings before. So say that, say this person, like, okay, so this person's active, they sell $400. Okay, these people are just getting started. They're all selling less than $400. Okay, and then say this person's selling like $1,800 here. Okay, so how many active legs do I have at this point? 2, yay. So even now, what about now? What about this person over here is selling, let's make it 2,400. Let's not make it 400. 2, yes, this is a leg. Okay, and this is a leg. This leg, incidentally, this person's active. So then this leg is, who knows what this leg is? This leg is probably, yeah, this leg is a Stylist 3 leg. So, okay. So, are any questions about that? All right. Okay, let me see if I can get this this drawing off of here now. That's the problem. Let's see. Okay, there we go. All right, so this is just an example, and I originally did this slideshow in March. So this is an example of how Lori had grown from March in 4 months, and Lori grew to group manager. So so 8 stylists were personally introduced to Winnie and Kat by Lori, and then Lori also got 4 home office leads. So in order to get the home office leads, sometimes you will get them when you're just starting for various reasons. It might be because someone lives near you. It might be because we're helping you with the leads, or we know that your mentor is helping you with the leads. But usually it's that we're seeing that you're working the business like we're training, and like the business needs to be worked. So so that's really important. And as leads come in, leads are so important. And if you're not, sometimes you're not going to connect with your mentor, and it's, it's sort of like a constant kind of, there's no exact science to signing someone up with a mentor, and sometimes we'll let leads even talk to more than one person, because it's important that they connect with you and they click with you. But if you're not necessarily connecting or clicking with your upline, call us, call me, call Tiff. Make this your own business. And sometimes you're going to have an amazing mentor, and sometimes it's just not fair. And it's going to be harder. But I talk a lot about being your own white knight. Be that person you want to be. And if you're not getting the support that you need just from your upline, you be that person and reach out to us, because we're here for you, and want to help you be successful. So I want to talk now about the Founders Club. And if there's any questions, let me know. And if I don't get to your questions on the call, get to them after the call. So we have a Founders Club, which is pretty awesome. And this is a way to help reward people who want to help us build, who want to come on and just are really motivated. And at first with the Founders Club, we had a deadline, okay, and it was we had a date, and then it kind of became the date kind of became a moving target. But now I decided that it's going to be a minimum of 3 people in the Founders Club, and I'll tell you in a minute what that means. But basically, it's pretty exciting because the Founders Club is open until I have at least 3 qualifying founders in 1 quarter. Okay, so what is the Founders Club? Independent stylists who are paid as Director 2, and this is on your compensation plan sheet. It's not here because we're only going up to group manager, but independent stylists who are paid as a Director 2 or higher at least twice by the first qualifying quarter will be inducted into the Founders Club, and I think that into is misspelled. In order to participate in the Founders Club pool, a stylist must be paid as Director 2 or higher at least twice in the calendar quarter. Okay, so 2 out of those 3 months. And the amount of the pool is 10% of the difference between the old quarterly volume, commissionable volume record, and the new, and I'm going to give you an example after this, and the new QCV record, okay? So a Director 2, and we went over the group manager. A Director 2 meets the minimum group manager requirements and has 2 group manager legs. So if you go back to group manager, look at the group manager. So a Director 2 is a group manager and has 2 group manager legs underneath her. Okay, and here's an example of what it can look like. So say that in quarter 1 in 2019, sales are 20 million. In quarter 2, sales are 25 million. So then 1% of that 5 million, or I mean 10%, sorry, 10% is divided between the founders. Okay, that's $500,000. And that's pretty sweet. So so the way that we're going to do it is as soon as there's 3 founders, and there can be more, there can be 10 founders, but as soon as we have at least 3 founders who qualify in a quarter, so the first quarter that we have 3 Director 2s, the Founders Club is going to be closed. Okay, so this is like a race to get to those first 3 spots. All right, and like I said, there could be 10. There might just be 3. Okay, here's where it gets really exciting too, is that you've got to keep working the business to be a founder. Okay, so like say there's 10, right? And it's whoever's working the business. So if you're working the business, that pool is divided based on your contributions. So if there's only 3 people, there's only 3 people splitting the pot, right? And if there's 10 people, there's 10 people splitting the pot, but everybody has to keep working it and has to keep growing. So so this is where it can get really interesting, and you can make a significant income, and we're talking quarterly, by the way. So this is a quarterly bonus right here. Okay, and that should be, there you go. Quarterly bonus. So yeah, it's it's a big deal, and it's to really I am not always one to like have a lot of like BS or hoopla, and sometimes I think it's probably to my detriment. We talk about like we are not get rich quick. We give the reality of the numbers and what they can look like, and these are what the numbers can look like if you're working it. Is it going to happen tomorrow? No. Is it going to happen this year? No. You can qualify this year. We might have qualifications within the next year. The Founders Club might be closed out. That's true. And when you're making this kind of money, it's probably going to take about 3 to 5 years. But you know what? What if you had started a company like this 5 years ago? Where would you be now? And think about your future self. When you think about everything, like what is your New Year's self going to be? What is your New Year's self going to be saying on New Year's Eve, 2015? What are you going to be saying? Are you going to be totally stoked about this fall and how you ended the year? Are you going to be kind of bummed and you're setting a new resolution that I'm going to do it this year. This is the year I'm going to put it back together. Are you going to say to whoever you're with at that New Year's Eve party or whatever you're doing, or if you're home with your kids or, whatever it is, if you're journaling, what are you going to do when you look back at the fall? And what are you going to say? So think about yourself 4 months from now and how she's going to feel, because that's going to be you. And so give yourself that gift. Give yourself, what about 5 years from now? Okay, because 5 years goes by pretty fast. So what are you going to be thinking 5 years from now about the previous 5 years, and what do you want that to look like? So that brings me to the next slide. And let me erase this now that I found my handy dandy. Okay. So this is a really important question. Where will you be and what will you be doing 10 years from today if you keep doing what you're doing now? Think about that. Think about that in all aspects of your life. If you're still doing what you're doing now, and if the answer is that's going to be you're going to be meeting your dreams, because I know, like, if I'm still doing what I'm doing now, 10 years from now, we are killing it. If I'm still doing what I'm doing now, 10 years from now, we are a well-established company. The women on this call are making a lot of money. If in 10 years from now, you're still on these calls, you're making 7 figures. I can almost guarantee that, if you're still doing what you're doing and working the business. So what are you going to be doing? Are you going to be saying, okay, I'm going to try another direct sales company, or I'm going to try something else? What are you going to be doing, and what are you going to be saying? So, and this is, take the first step or take the next step. Whatever step, today is your start. We can only start from today. So take the step from today and move forward each day until you get there. Just keep moving forward. Okay, this is one of Tiff's favorite quotes. If your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. Okay? What is it? And it's, when you look at this picture, it's not the Prada bag. It's not, well, maybe it is those huts. Those look pretty awesome. But it's the feeling. It's the feeling that you get. Look at some of these pictures, and what does it look like? What is that to you? What is it if you're driving that car, you're carrying that bag? What is it inside how is that going to make you feel? So take some time after the call. Whatever you're going to do after the call, take a little bit of time, sometime tonight, okay, at least within the next 24 hours, and hold on to that and think about, take 5 minutes and write it down. Write down, and, if maybe 5 years from now, okay? Start with January, though. Start with New Year's Eve and what you're going to be saying. What are you going to be saying on New Year's Eve? What did it look like? What did 2014 look like to you? And what's your story? What's your 2014 story? Because there's still a lot of time to finish writing that story. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining us. It's an absolutely phenomenally exciting time. The kits are in the mail. There's a lot of parties on the books. Just keep booking and just reach out to us. There's going to be more exciting things next week. We're having an Amber Waves kickoff party here at the home office, and when there's parties at the home office, there's always exciting things happening around the country. So thank you, everybody, for joining me, and I'll talk to you next week, and maybe during the week if you need us, just reach out. But thank you for being here, and thank you for everybody who's dialing in. Bye-bye, everybody, and have a good night.